I think really that the first time that I watched as my print came up in the Dectal developer tray under those red safe lights, I was hooked. I knew that's what I wanted to try to do with my life. I met Barack Obama after he was elected to the Senate in 2004. I was working for the Chicago Tribune, based in their Washington bureau. And so when he was elected to the Senate, we decided to do a series of articles with photos on his first year in the Senate. So I got to know him just professionally. He got to know me a little bit, liked the way I work. Those are the reasons probably why he decided to ask me to become his White House photographer. The primary function of the White House photographer is to document the presidency for history. I shot almost 2 million photos in 8 years. Every single photo was saved. Every single photo is now at the National Archives. That's the primary function of the office. In terms of what would get used for social media, the digital team that ran the White House website would come to me and say, the president met with Angela Merkel today, we want a photo from that meeting. And myself or one of the photo editors would choose what we thought was the best 2 or 3 photos, and we would send those to the digital team. And really that's sort of the way it worked for all the social media platforms. So we did very little post-processing. The sort of accepted uses of Photoshop for journalism. So basically adjusting color balance, highlights, shadows, and that was about it. Well, go back to 2009, and we're embarking on this 8-year run to document this presidency with digital cameras. And one of the main criteria for choosing which cameras to use was I wanted quiet cameras. You're in a lot of sensitive meetings and didn't want to disturb what was going on. And at the time, I felt that the Canon 5D, then Mark II, was much quieter than Nikon. Sony didn't have mirrorless cameras out that could match the DSLR capability of the Canon or Nikon. So as a result, I chose to go with the Canon 5D Mark II, and then probably not long after the Mark III came out, we upgraded to the Mark III. Because I was always working up close with the president, I usually carried 2 cameras, a 35mm lens, a 50, a 135, and sometimes a 24 or 85. And then when Canon came out with the second version of the 24-70 zoom, I felt that lens was very sharp. And so I ended up using that a lot, and I guess mostly the second term. I thought it was important to just keep a small footprint like that. If we were doing the grip and grin photo, which we occasionally had to do, sometimes I would use a speed light for that, and it would just be a matter of bouncing a flash. If the administration was starting today, I may have made a different choice in which camera to use. It's just a tool. It's not the camera that makes the picture. It's the photographer. And at the time, I used what I thought was the best tool for the circumstance. Essentially, my job was be there when the president shows up to work in the morning, the Oval Office, and then tag along with him all day long till he goes home. And then, oftentimes after dinner with his family, there would still be more things to photograph. Always shooting. I wasn't shooting every second of the day, but I was always ready to be shooting pictures. And, it would just kind of depend what was going on. The most difficult parts of the job is the emotional and physical toll that it takes on your personal life. I felt that if I was there to document for history, I needed to be there all the time, because you never know when history is going to be made. I approached this job with the intent of creating the best photographic archive of a president that had ever been done in all the different compartments of his life, whether he was in the Situation Room or whether he was with Sasha Malia, making snow angels in the Rose Garden. He was always the president, even if he was being a dad, or if he was playing basketball, or he's still the president. And I try to never lose sight of that. My hope is that when, in generations to come, when people go through these pictures at the National Archives, they'll get a good sense of not only what he was like as a president, but what he was like as a person, as a human being. And I think that is important. I think we want to know what our president's really like. And imagine if we had this kind of an archive of, let's say Abraham Lincoln or something, when he was dealing with the Civil War, and so I think this will be a good, just a good archive for history, show what he was like.